Night Crimean horizon. The sky is a bruise of cloud and cold. A slow mechanical breath. The 91N6E radar turns its searchlight of waves across the dark. Its metal ribs glow faintly beneath the moon. Men in insulated jackets move in electric lullaby. Switches, checklists, cigarette embers. They believe with every practiced movement that they sit behind the eye of one of the planet's most formidable air defenses. A forest east of Mykolaiv. Under a canopy of leaves, a camouflaged Kamaz truck breathes quietly. Its hydraulic hatch unfurls like a predator revealing teeth. Inside rests something no one has seen before. Flamingo, a cruise missile born in shadow, shaped to slip through the cracks of the world's loudest defenses. At 03:00 on August 29th, a $500 million Sentinel spun its last rotations. It had no idea its clock had been set for minutes. If this opening grabbed you, don't let it finish here. Hit like, subscribe, and share this scene with someone who loves edge-of-your-seat truth. Comment Flamingo if you felt the chill. A cluster of figures, the strike team. Headsets, breath visible in the cold, eyes fixed on screens. The leader's hand hovers above a console. His jaw is a blade of resolve. Leader whisper. Begin target lock sequence. A technician keys in encrypted coordinates coming off a distant UAV feed. A green confirmation burns on the screen. Target acquired. Flamingo sits silent in its cradle, engine sleeping. Around them, the forest listens. The Bayar UAV feed a grayscale stream of terrain, a pulsing waveform that finally spikes. The C-band pulse of the 91N6E, an 8-mile offset pinned on a topographical map. UAV operator mutters. Hotspot confirmed. Match with satellite image, same grid. Leader softly. You know what this means. Launch on my mark. The men breathe together. Somewhere miles away, men are still smoking, oblivious to the heartbeat aligning against them. If you want more scenes like this, cinematic and unflinching, smash that like and subscribe now. Drop a comment. Start the mission. Share this. Let the world watch the future unfold. EXT. KERSONEN Frontline 02:59:50 AM. A mobile rotating launcher rotates into position. A Ram-2 decoy UAV lifts without a sound, climbing like a civilian craft over the western coastline. The decoy's job was simple: be loud, be obvious, draw the eye. The Ram-2 cruises then with a practiced, sudden violence, veers 70 degrees. It plummets toward John Coy. On the radar screens miles away, it blazes, a glaring signature. The 91N6E crews tense, the S-systems pivot. A Panzer S-1 locks on. The interceptor arcs into night, collides with the decoy in a sterile burst of flame. Intelligence is harvested in the seconds that follow. Firing vectors, lock times, reaction delays. Data rivers stream back, encrypted to the Flamingo's guidance map. Tactical radio crackling. Lock-on recorded, uploading intercept telemetry. Technician with cold pride. Perfect, all vectors logged, route updated. If that diversion made your heart jump, like, comment and share. Tell everyone, distractions can be deadly. Subscribe for scene-by-scene breakdowns. EXT, JANKOY Outpost, 03:10 AM. Hydraulics hiss. The cradle tilts. A thin ribbon of smoke, almost polite, traces southward. Flamingo detaches with no fanfare, no roaring applause, only the thin, clinical signature of a weapon doing its work. 11 minutes from cradle to impact. 11 minutes to trouble every planning diagram that ever said a radar was invincible. Flamingo slips under cover, terrain following, profile low as a thought. It eats distance, 25 miles in silence, skimming at 165 feet, hunting the gap between theory and reality in a layered air defense. UAV feed on a small monitor. Beaver continues relay, passive receiver reading steady, frequency signature unchanged. Flight tech calm tense. Keep the feed clean. Any spike we abort. Sensors flicker. The night bleeds static as multiple electromagnetic whispers flash across the screen. GPS takes a hit. If you're on the edge, don't just watch. Share this moment. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. INT. Flamingo ONBOARD. VISULIZD night. For a breath, satellites lie quiet. Jammers bloom over the Crimean Peninsula. But Flamingo, designed for this, transitions. Inertial navigation takes hold. Fiber optic gyros, terrain-matching algorithms, altimeters whispering map data into its flight brain. When the sky goes dark, the clever move to light a new path is what wins the night. On the ground, Russian operators see smoke of signal and fragments of returns, too brief to pin. Flamingo's probing emissions exist for half a second each, ghosts in the spectrum. Confusion ripples across screens. No one fires. No one trusts the echo. Operator 2, frustrated. Contact, no lost, repeat lost. Radar lead through clenched teeth. Do not engage on incomplete vector. Silence becomes strategy. The missile threads a needle of indecision. Flamingo's contrail against the stars. It's a razor through a layered defense. If you felt the tension, hit like. Tell the algorithm we're telling the real stories. Comment below, night WINS. EXT, Lake SAVASH flanks 03:17 a.m. Flamingo skirts the salt flats. The 36D6 radar's waves scatter over shallow waters. A tiny target is invisible in the clutter. At 150 feet, at 515 mph, this missile is a blade moving under the radar's breath. The S-300s were masters of the sky, optimized for aircraft and high-altitude threats. They were not designed to see a shadow sliding over water at the edge of dawn. Ahead, the Kalanka farmland interference wall. A gauntlet of jammers and suppression systems designed to disrupt satellites and signals. Flamingo severs GPS when signal strength collapses, drops into a pure INS and terrain map mode. It becomes a ghost following the contour of fields, streams, and irrigation ditches. On screens, small flickers of interference appear and vanish. A weak alert at the Russian Air Defense Command Center pings and dies in 2 seconds. The fog makes the echoes lie. Radar tech uneasy. Something flickered southwest, too brief. Commander cold. Monitor, keep me informed. No one suspects that 3 miles away, a mechanical shadow is making its final decisions. A slow montage, Flamingo weaving, trimming altitude, aligning for impact. Men in different places stare at different screens, none of which tell the whole truth. If this has you hooked, do this now. Like, subscribe, and share to make sure others see how a single strike can change the map. Comment impact to lock it in. EXT, John KOY Site 03:21:49 a.m. A rush of wind. A turbojet surges. Flamingo explodes into motion, 530 mph, a living spear. It tears through farmland, snaps through fencing and trees. 2 seconds later, a white ball of light detonates the night. A mushroom cloud rises. For 3 seconds, a brilliant white holds, then the sky remembers darkness. A shockwave turns night into a rattle across miles. Windows shatter in nearby homes. The antenna mast of the 91N6E collapses like a toppled tower. Flames lick a command vehicle and a power truck. 3 minutes after the blast, distant sensors saw heat bloom, a thermal fingerprint that told the world the radar was gone. Silence follows the blast, not the quiet of peace, but the stunned hush of systems that had been pulled from certainty. Recon drone camera feed. Target neutralized. 91N6E obliterated. INT, Russian command scramble. Phones ring unanswered. Telegram channels churn. Local vehicles are blocked. No official statement. a crown jewel of a multi-layered shield reduced to molten metal and ruin. Satellite overlays confirming thermal spikes, analysts scrambling to assess the aftershock. If the climax landed hard, hit like, then subscribe. Share this with 10 people who follow world events. Drop a comment. One radar DOWN. Let the world register the moment. EXT. Crimean SKIS/satellite view dawn. The smoke is still a bruise against the light. Analysts in distant rooms lean over feeds. NATO sensors note an anomalous heat bloom. Sentinel imagery confirms temperatures exceeding 100 degrees C lasting minutes. Cost estimates tumble across analyst chats. The radar alone, $110 million. The battery's strategic role, priceless. Operation Flamingo was not just a strike. It was a lesson in asymmetry, how small tools and cunning planning can turn an expensive fortress into an exposed ruin. A sequence of dry facts, cost, timelines, hardware values scrolls by like an obit for the night's illusion of invulnerability. Key installations are now temporarily blind. For 48-72 hours, alternate strikes may find corridors previously sealed. INT, Ukraine Command muted celebrations. No casualties reported. No deep airspace breach required. A mission completed in under 30 minutes with low cost and high strategic outcome. Commander Ukraine soft. We do not celebrate the destruction. We measure its effect. Every radar site now must ask, is the next Flamingo 11 minutes away? Hold on. A final shot of the commas truck's empty cradle, the forest silent again, the men dispersing into shadows. The world has shifted quietly with the efficiency of a surgical strike. If this operation changed your view of modern warfare, do one thing, like this video, subscribe, and share it globally. In the comments, argue, does asymmetry favor the future? Your voice shapes the conversation. Epilogue. QSTONS left smoking. Night right arrow dawn. The world awakes to a new geography of fear and possibility. Instruments recalculate, doctrines adjust. In the quiet, the question remains like a distant echo. When the world's loudest defenses can be silenced in 11 minutes, what next? Who watches the watchers? And who will build the next Flamingo? If you want full scene breakdowns, maps, and character deep dives like this, subscribe. Smash like to support investigative storytelling. Share this with a friend across the world and ignite the debate. Comment your take, defense era redrawn, and pin your voice.